If someone wanted throughout history to find Kabbalah books, he could have. It's no problem. People were frightened not to do this. I remember in the city of Bnei Brak, in 85, I come in to, duplicate a key, and I have from Etz HaChaim, the book of the Ari, so I put it on the counter, and I give him the key, and I tell him, make me another key. He says, take the book, hold it in your hand, otherwise I can't start working. I took the book, and I said sorry, and afterwards they already knew me. If you think about this as the partition, then okay, but we're talking about the iron wall within a man's heart. And again, this iron wall is especially with respect to Lishma. What does it mean, Lishma? It's not a theoretical question. The question is actually, what is the essence of my life? That the highest just point, what is it? The important gist point, what is it? Or if I have to be meticulous, hold on to what's written in a book with my hands and legs. Or I have to achieve the realization of my desires, money, honor, knowledge. Or I have to achieve adhesion with the higher force. This is the question. So Kabbalah explains to us about this point. All the rest doesn't matter. All the rest of life goes by, and whatever goes by, it goes. And so after all this problem that he says that there is a wall, and what does he comprise this wall from? And he doesn't tell you about the Hindus and the Islam and the different problems and the laziness or anything else that's within a person. But what does he tell you? He says, however, when I begin to speak to anyone about this study, his first question is, why should I know how many angels are in the sky and what their names are? Can I not keep the whole Torah in all its details and intricacies without this knowledge? That a person, he opens a book, he reads it, he knows it by heart. To this extent he knows that he studies it to an extent to which he knows that what's written, each and every letter, this is what it's called, to fill one's belly with Shas and Poskim. It's really like it tells us in the beginning of the introduction to Pi Chacham, to fulfill one's belly by Shas and Poskim. He fulfills himself. He does everything he's demanding to do in these 100 blessings written in the prayer book. How could you come to him and tell him that he's okay or not okay? With respect to which principle? Where do you take this constitution from telling him that he is not keeping anything? If you tell him that he can't keep this whole Torah without knowing the wisdom of Kabbalah, but he wasn't told about this, no one told him. He's saying this with a good reason. How could he know these things? Second, he will ask, the sages have already determined that one must first fill one's belly with Torah and Poskim, which means Mishnah and Gemara. Thus, how can one deceive himself that he has already completed the whole of the revealed Torah? Also, if one has to fulfill his belly with Mishnah and Gemara, Well, it says so actually. A person, he comes to the Kabbalah before he does it, and he goes against the advice of the sages. They were all great Kabbalists, so why did they recommend such a thing? It's forbidden for the wisdom of Kabbalah for someone who has not fulfilled his belly by Shas and Poskim. It's forbidden. This means to finish all the Talmud Bavli with all the books around, the big Shulchan Aruch, Yorei De'ah, everything. Because all in all, they scrutinize for us the Talmud. How is it possible? Third, he is afraid that he will turn sore because of this engagement. This is because there have already been incidents of deviation from the path of Torah because of engagement in Kabbalah. Hence, why do I need this trouble? Who is so foolish as to place himself in danger for no reason? It is known that whoever starts engaging in the wisdom of Kabbalah becomes confused, he has different inner contradictions. He starts thinking about matters which are abstract from the act itself. And then he leaves the physical action and he lets go, and he really corrupts himself in the doing and the performing of the precepts of the mitzvot, of the learning. A person, he becomes... He ceases to be a soldier. And this is the problem. And throughout generations, tens and dozens of generations, thousands of years, we exist this way in each and every generation, not only in the last generation, also before many years ago, 500 and 1,000 years ago. People who started to engage in the wisdom of Kabbalah, they were weakened in the keeping of the mitzvot because they're in contradiction. The inner and the external keeping, it's something known, there's nothing to conceal here. And we also see this on ourselves, these things. So what do? How, nonetheless, is it possible to put yourself in danger by starting to engage in the wisdom and Kabbalah, and tomorrow you'll completely come out of this religious framework? This is what he says. Who is foolish enough to place himself in danger for no reason? Okay? Yes? My Rav said a few moments ago that in some places it's no longer relevant, that someplace the people who are in the halacha will repent last. So I don't understand. We're sitting and scrutinizing some topic that there's so many people that do want and do yearn. So why to engage in this at all? You're Israeli, aren't you? Okay. Your dad was religious? No. Grandfather? My mother is still, okay. Your mother is still. I'm asking about your grandfather. Yes. Maybe he was even a Kabbalist. Everyone say, my grandfather was a great Kabbalist. We're talking about everyone. We're talking about this part existing in each and every one of us. Each one of the people in the world exists after he is included after the breaking of the vessels from all discernments. For this we have to study this. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, we have to learn what does Baal HaSulam want to tell us, because he's our teacher, and want to understand what does he have in his mind. I'm following him. That's it. I don't care what he's talking about. I learned this not for my mind, but for something to pour from there into my heart. Third,